This one has wares that those ones will not miss. This one.
Oh, those things in the cave. They were like nothing I've ever seen. I've studied dwarven specimens from the Alakir Desert, Orsinium, all over. Never anything like those long-necked things.
What happened was terrible, but our work must continue.
The wounded have all been stabilized, but we lost so many. I'm afraid that the talent of tower shaping will be set back generally.
Come to consult the great Tel Fyr. Well, I'm afraid I'm rather preoccupied at the moment.
What a discovery! Those animunculi were resonating in a stable anharmonic oscillation. It's unprecedented, and it just fell in our laps. What rare fortune. By the three, progress always comes at a cost. Telvanni understand that. They'd tell you they'd be honored to be associated.
You I don't recognize. If you've come to see Master Fyr, he's preoccupied. Indefinitely. Oh. Of course, Danilo told you about that. Did she mention it's suicide? I'm sure she didn't. I don't doubt Master Fyr will be fine passing through the rift, but anyone else? I'm not staking my life on it. No, I told Master Fyr I wouldn't go. He just walked away. I think he fired me? I'm just glad he didn't ask my sister. If you have your heart set on an untimely death, Master Fyr's still intent on going. I don't think Master Fyr really means to end my service to him. Surely he's just preoccupied. The Telvanni were expanding the workshop into the caverns beyond this chamber, where the rift came into being. It seemed a trick of the light at first, like a carnival mirror. Then it began to tear, wider and wider until things spilled out. There were creatures, familiar beasts, but they weren't simple flesh any longer. They were fashioned, joined with machines, beautiful and terrible at the same time. I don't know if they live, but they hunger. Wait, are you saying you don't know who Tel Fyr is? Yes. He's the most famed and respected mage in Vardenfell, maybe the world. There isn't a subject of magic he can't discuss in totality. I really hope he'll forgive me for abandoning his expedition. Trying to make myself useful by tallying casualties and damages for Master Fyr. I know he's unhappy that I won't accompany him into the rift, but maybe this will help make up for it. Wait, are you... Master Fyr is very generous. He's let my sister and I stay here with him for nothing at all, and he spends a great deal of time with us. There's so much going on behind his eyes. You risk it.
The Telvanni decided to honor me with membership in their great house. This tower was their idea of a gift. Their choice of location was portentous, let's say. For them, my own auspices are far brighter. I'm a traveler. At my doorstep, a new path. The natural conclusion should be obvious. I intend to explore beyond the rift that has emerged in my basement, or rather the caverns beyond. However, none of this lot are willing or able to join me. Upsets in planar demarcation are remarkably complex. Study must be free from distraction, an impossibility while constructs continuously spill from the rift. We must find their source and shut it down. Clear a path through the meddlesome machines in the cavern beyond this antechamber. I will join you at the rift once I've completed my usual transliminal preparations. Some are Dwameri, tinkered with in ways beyond even my experience. Intriguing, but not nearly so interesting as the Fabricants. Their marriage of the organic and inorganic defies all contemporary wisdom. But are they as they seem? What, indeed? I'd only heard descriptions of the creatures in my talks with Barrelzar, Sotha Seal's former apprentice. Even he doesn't seem to have a full grasp of their design. They are life driven by clockwork, if all is to be believed. Given the eruption of Fabricants into the caverns, my theory is it somehow intersects with Clockwork City. Anything beyond that is pure speculation. The domain of Sotha Seal. A world of his own design. Privilege of being a god. Whether it exists in Nirn is the subject of much conjecture. Perhaps we'll finally lay that debate to rest. Some are... What in... I'd assumed you knew whose home it was you were standing in. Tel Fyr. Does that name's significance escape you as well? For your sake, I hope you're more prepared for what's to come. As for me, you could say I'm a practitioner of magic, if you were partial to understatement. I am the premier authority on extraplanar travel. My writings are taught the world over.
How can anything hurt so badly?
The guard is on its way, intruder.
The guard better give me a cut of your bounty. After all you've put me through. Such a crime. I suppose I couldn't do any better.
Halt! Maybe your small mind can understand if I speak slowly. I'm here to collect your bounty. Fine. Now get your stink away from me.
How's Lalu?
still alive, I see. And since you're here, that means you weren't captured and hauled off to a Redoran dungeon. Good for you. Were you able to acquire the registry? And does it contain any information about Thea's brother, Ulron? Ulron was exiled? That can't be right. He's an exemplary officer and a good man. Plus, he's the son of a counselor. Why in oblivion would House Redoran banish one of their brightest stars? I can see that. There has to be more to the story, but I'm not sure how we get it. Still, you proved you could be trusted, and you admirably performed this task. So I suppose I should let you meet with Vea now. There's an abandoned cave along the coast. It's in the swamp and smells like rot, which makes it the perfect place to hide. Vea's supposed to wait inside, but she's bored. I know she's been sneaking out. You'll find her in the cave or just outside. Get to the swamp and find Vea. She's eager for any information about her brother, so she's really going to appreciate getting that registry. Just try not to be too charming when you meet her hero. She has enough distractions as it is. Well enough. Ulron and Vea used to sneak out to watch me train. I have a way with blades that fascinated them to no end. Eventually, our fondness developed between the three of us. And to think, I never even had a nick sound growing up. It's not like personal relationships are against the rules, though I suppose they are sort of frowned upon. Anyway, my assignments always brought me back to Vardenfell, so we were able to keep in touch and visit even as they grew older. Anything's possible, but the Ulron I know holds honor above all else. I can't believe he'd do something so dishonorable that the House leaders would demand his exile. We need to find out more about what happened. Vea would face too many temptations here in Balmora. Friends, favorite places, familiar sights and sounds, not to mention the proximity to all things House Redoran. Even the most thick-headed house guard would eventually stumble over her. Oh, don't thank me, hero. As long as you're useful and don't betray us, then we're engaged in a mutually beneficial arrangement. Cross us in any way, however, and you'll never see my blade before it plunges into your heart. Vea's young, bored, and stubborn. That makes for a volatile combination. She wants fresh air and freedom. I can't blame her for that. I can blame her for assuming I'm not aware of her little excursions. I thought I trained her better than that. Danger's a relative term, especially when you're dealing with relatives. Vea can make her own decisions. If she wants to risk getting caught by House Redoran, that's on her head, especially since she knows they've been searching that area.
Comrade, a word. Well met, comrade. I have an urgent message from the Guildmaster. Report to me at once. I have a task for you. She's a lizard of few words. She's running things out of the guild hall in Darwin's Watch at the moment. The 8 guide you, comrade. No, but I have an idea. Word in the hall is that there's a big contract. A huge contract. All hands on deck. She probably wants you in the fight.
Vardenfell will soon need the services of the Fighters Guild. We're looking for recruits. Disputes between Hull.
And you're sure it's Vea? House Redoran isn't emptying its coffers so you can chase your own tails out here.
You pay the war claws well, because the war claws are the best there is. We have the kitten scent. It's just a matter of time before my warriors catch her.
Of course, Ferhara. Just make sure she doesn't get out of the swamp. I'll take my soldiers and guard the eastern paths, in case she eludes your warriors again. Ah, the Councilor's lackey. I understand you've made significant progress in your search for Vea. As a matter of fact, so have we. This whole ordeal will be over soon, and then you can be on your way, Outlander. My mercenaries have spotted Vea skulking about the northern portion of the swamp. Between my soldiers and Ferhara's war claws, the Councilor's daughter will soon be home safe and sound. Vea's brother. It's a sad story. Killed one of his own soldiers to protect an Ashlander of all things. I think they were being too lenient when they simply exiled him. But that's how they treat the privileged few. Ulron always had an unnatural attraction to the Ashlanders and their savage ways. He felt that an Ashlander life was worth more than a Redoran life. The Council didn't agree with his assessment. This will all be over as soon as Ferhara finds Vea. As you say, Ferhara's war claws take their contract as seriously as you do, however. Get in their way, and I can't guarantee your safety.
Ferhara assumes the Councilor's minions will not present a problem for the war claws. Yes, Captain?
The Outlanders have been warned, Ferhara. I leave everything else to your discretion.
By the three! You really shouldn't sneak up on a person like that. If you're working with those mercenaries, I assure you, you won't take me without a fight. Oh, right. Now you mentioned something about that. Look, I can't wait to hear what you learned, but the swamp is crawling with mercenaries. There's a cave to the northeast. We can talk there. Unfortunately, there's a mob of those beast people between here and the cave. I was going to try and sneak past them, but every time I get too close, I think one of them catches my scent. You're going to tackle that mob of fur and claws? I'm impressed. Meet me at the cave when you're finished. I think we have a lot to talk about. Oh, and try not to get killed. I really want to know what you came all this way to tell me. Meet me in the cave to the north when you finish with the mercenaries.
I can smell the dark elf getting. Like we're the first ones here.
Healer! Let's flay this outsider!
Up here! Hurry, before more of them show up! What do you think of my luxurious accommodations? It's got dirt and rock, fungus and a poultry fire, all the comforts of home. Anyway, you said you had information about my brother, Oran. What did you find out? No, that can't be right. Oran's honorable and noble. He's a model soldier. What could he possibly done to warrant being banished? What? My brother has always been interested in the Ashlanders. Even showed them a kindness the rest of the house doesn't approve of. But for him to kill someone, especially one of his own soldiers, something terrible must have happened. I know the tribe that Oran liked to help. brought them supplies and such. He'd go and visit their camp whenever our father wasn't paying attention. Will you go with me to talk to them? Wait, someone's coming.
She can handle herself just fine, hero.
Go.
There, grab your
Why?
things. It's time to go.
What's going on?
The Warclaws are marching toward this cave, along with half the House Redoran soldiers in Balmora. We need to go now.
Damn it! They must have followed us. I'll get my stuff.
Dealing with an arrogant, impatient, overconfident young woman. Now I know how my mother must have felt. We need to move. It won't take those damn cats long to find this place, not with their sense of smell. The back tunnels. Better than heading out the front door and right into the main contingent of Redoran troops. Councillor Eris brought additional soldiers from town. He's intent on getting his daughter, and he may have the numbers to do it. One more thing. The back tunnels wind their way through territory that House Redoran recently acquired. We may run into some resistance, but it shouldn't be as bad as what's waiting outside the front of the cave.
Does the scene look unstable to you?
Captain Priven thinks the Councillor's kitten might try to escape through these tunnels.
Damn! Those cat bastards are harder to shake than a blind date. I can't get captured and taken back to my father. Not when I'm this close to finding my brother. That must be the way out. I just hope there aren't any Redorans up there. Oh no, we're surrounded! And that's my father! What's he doing here?
Sweep the caves. If you spot Vea, report back to me. She's not to be harmed.
I'd prefer that you don't harm the agents I hired either. There is no need for bloodshed.
Father ruins everything. I'm so close to finding my brother, and he shows up to drag me back home. Well, I'm not going back without a fight. You do that for me. Thanks, I guess. But what can you possibly do against all those soldiers?